Greetings from Iglesia Siloe. For today's first Thursday lesson, we are going to do a quick recap of what we've been learning in the book of Genesis. So let's go ahead and get started. So chapter 1 of Genesis is about the creation and how God creates the whole world in 7 days. The seventh day he actually rests, but we consider it part of creation. Now we still practice that resting on our Sundays when we go to church. Now, chapter 2 of Genesis is like a zoom-in glass of Adam and Eve and how they were created and how they were given an entire garden, entire paradise for them to live in. But they are not allowed to eat from this tree. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If they can eat anything, they have all the animals, they have everything at their reach, but this tree they can't eat it because then God's gonna be mad at them. So then chapter 3 is Adam and Eve taking the action and eating of that tree which they were told not to do. So they experience sin for the first time and they're kicked out of the Garden of Eden, literally. And so that happens and they are no longer in paradise. They have to survive out in the world. Now, chapter 4 is the story of Cain and Abel. So Cain actually kills his brother Abel because Abel, I forgot to mention, Cain and Abel are sons of Adam and Eve. So they're children. They're children of Adam and Eve. Now, Abel is a good person. He tries to follow what God says, tries to give his best in the sacrifices that they are required to make. But Cain kind of gives whatever. Doesn't really care, gets minimum effort, and so God is pleased with Abel, and so Cain's super jealous and he kills him. So then Cain is cursed, his entire generations thereafter are cursed forever. Abel's death. Adam and Eve have another son, and his name's Seth. Now Seth continues Adam's generations. Now, chapter 5 is the genealogy, the lineage from Adam, the first man on earth, to Noah, who we are all familiar with Noah. So that's just this person lived this many years, and then they were the father of this person. They lived so many years until it's Noah, who has 3 sons named Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, chapter 6 of Genesis talks about the wickedness of man during Noah's time. So people are just bad. They're doing things they're not supposed to. They're marrying to people outside of where they were supposed to marry. And then it says that there were giants on earth. And so all these people are just doing very crazy bad things. And there's one man, Noah, who actually pleases God and does what God says. And so God is very pleased with Noah, and he tells him, you know what, I'm going to destroy the earth through water, and I'm going to remake it. It's just going to flood and everything's going to die. But you and your family are going to be saved. So go ahead and build an ark. Build that ark and take in every animal. 2 of each kind of animal, male and female, so that when the flood's over, they can reproduce, so have babies, and life goes on. So chapter 7 is God giving those specific instructions about the animals, and then God beginning to flood the earth. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, so that's over a month in our time period. Keeping in mind that a day to them is the same day to us, so it would be a month and a week, a month and almost 2 weeks that it would rain. It's kind of like being in quarantine, but all that happens is it's raining and everything's flooding, so that's kind of around the time period. Now then chapter 8 of Genesis is Noah's deliverance. So God remembers Noah, and the water was actually on the earth for 150 days, according to Genesis chapter 7, verse 24. So then chapter 8, God remembers Noah, and the waters stop. And so Noah sends 2 birds, a raven and a dove, and the dove returns, so that means that there's no land for them to step on. Now then he waits 7 days and sends again a dove, and then the dove returns with a leaf, an olive leaf in its mouth, and so that means that there is now ground to step on. So that happens. Now God makes a promise with creation, and Genesis 8 verse 21 it says, "And the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done." So God promises to never do that to creation. And then chapter 9 is God telling Noah and his sons to be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. Genesis 9 verse 1. And he also makes a covenant with Noah and his descendants. It says 9 verse 8. Then God spoke to Noah to his sons with him, saying, "As for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Thus I will establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." So that's God's promise to Noah and his descendants. And then the second part of Noah's story is in chapter 9 as well, is when Noah actually messes up and he gets drunk and he causes his son to sin, and his son Ham is cursed forever, just like Cain was, and Shem and Japheth are actually blessed. Chapter 10 is now the story of Noah and the sons of Noah's sons, so the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So we are not going to study that because it's just who was born after the other person, so just like it's a genealogy. We will begin chapter 11, which is the Tower of Babel, next Thursday. So thank you all for watching this. It's important that we know what we're studying, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun as we continue studying the Bible together, even though we can't see each other in person. So yes, so comment down in the comments which part of Genesis so far is your favorite. Okay, so yes, I will see you on Sunday for our devotional lessons. All right, bye all. Have a good weekend.